everybody, it's Michelle, and today I've got a really fun Pom Pom Snowman that I want to share with you guys. I'll be using my Pom Pom makers from Beebeecraft. If you guys didn't get to see my demonstration video on that, I'll include a link for you guys so you can watch that. But today I've already made my first pom pom with the largest size of pom pom maker, which was this one here. And I've got my other one almost finished, and I thought I would show you guys how I finished up at the end. I came up with this idea based on my little teeny tiny Pom Pom Snowman that I made with these little pom-poms from the craft section to go inside of my shaker ornaments, which I will also include a link for you guys at the top if you want to go check that out as well. And I thought I would just enlarge that idea with larger pom-poms and make a little tabletop snowman for the Christmas season. So here I have the next size down from the largest, and I'll show you guys how I'm going to finish this off. So I have wrapped both sides of my pom-pom maker, and you can see I've got it nice and full because I want a really fluffy pom-pom. And I used a white sparkly yarn. You guys can use any white yarn you have on hand. I just had this left over from a project from years ago, and I thought I would go ahead and have a little bit of sparkle on him. You can't see it a lot because on the pom-pom you're really just seeing the tips, but whatever you've got on hand will work. So now that we've got everything wrapped, our next step is to snip all of our yarn strands straight up the middle of our pom-pom maker. And then on the other side, if you have a little piece hanging loose like that, it's okay. You can just trim it up if you want to. It's all going to be individual strands in the end anyway. And we'll give him a trim as well to make sure that he's nice and round and all of the edges are even. Okay, so now that we have that, we're going to cut our yarn loose, and we're going to use a long strand here to tie off our pom-pom. And you want to have a nice good length because we're going to keep that on our pom-pom to tie the two together. So we go right in between those two there. Let me trim my other little tail there. So we take our long piece up the center, around the other side, and tie that as tight as you can without breaking it so that you're binding all of those little strands together. And I like to make a knot and then wrap it back around the other side and knot it again. Okay, now that we've got that, we're going to keep our tail, and we're not going to cut that just yet. So now we're going to open our pom-pom maker. Let's see, we might open these out first. And then take the sides apart. So there's our pom-pom. Just fluff it around and then hold on to those tails and make sure you don't cut those. And then just go through and give it a haircut so everything's nice and even. And then once you're happy with how you've got that trimmed, then we can put these together and create our snowman. Now remember, I told you it was important to leave the tails that you tied your pom-pom off with. That makes it easy to just tie these two together. Make a knot, a couple of knots, some double knots, Make sure that it's held on there securely, and then you can clip those off. Okay, so now we've got the start of our snowman. Okay, now that we've got him together, I'm just going to sneak a little bit of hot glue in there to help keep his head from wobbling around so much. We're going to actually have a lot of hot glue on him anyway. And then just hold that down for a second. So now for his scarf. This is the part that I thought was so much fun. I found this Soho Colossal yarn, and look at one strand of that yarn is so giant, and I thought that was so much fun for my snowman. I'm just going to clip a little piece off here. 12 to 16 inches probably, and we'll end up trimming that anyway. And I'm just going to wrap that around, and you can get it a little snug under there if you want to. Tie it just a little on one side, and when you've got it looking the way you want it, just put a little bit of hot glue under there, and a little bit especially under the knot, because I didn't really tie it in a knot, I just looped it through once, so we want it to stay in place. He's already starting to look like a cute little snowman, so I'm just going to trim off his scarf about where you would want his scarf to hang. Okay, and now for his face. Of course, we're going to keep with the pom-pom theme, so I'm going to use some black pom-poms for his eyes. And for his nose, instead of a carrot, I thought I wanted him just to have a little snowball nose, so I'm going to stick a white pom-pom on there for his nose. And for his mouth, I've got just a little scrap of those tiny 3mm chenille stems that I got at Joann a while back. And we'll just cut a piece of that off and make him a little mouth. So I think what I'm going to do is to put the glue on my pom-pom instead of onto the snowman. And you can put quite a bit of glue if you need to, because it's going back into the fluff of our yarn here. He kind of looks like a little owl right now, but we're going to fix him up. And I think I want to do his nose next. I think his little snowball nose is really cute. Okay, I'm trying to lean him back so you guys can see a little better. Bring this in and lean him back onto that so you guys can see. There we go. Okay, and now I'm going to cut a little piece for his mouth. And I'm going to go ahead and shape it before I try to glue it on there. I think I'm going to use my tweezers so I don't burn myself on that. Just run a little bit of glue along the back side of that and stick it right on. And if you need to, you can come in and trim around his little facial features. Okay, now more pom-poms. I'm going to create him a headband with some earmuffs on there. And I didn't have a blue pipe cleaner to match, so I took a gray one and I colored it with a light blue alcohol marker. Just be sure to let that dry completely if you're using alcohol marker on that, but it will be just fine. I'm going to curve that around until it fits his head the way I want it. Maybe trim up the ends just a little if it's too long. Okay. And to add a little extra color, I thought I'd make his earmuffs red on a blue band. I thought that would be cute. I'm going to trim up the sides of his face a little more. You guys can just trim on these until you get them exactly the way you want them. And these sparkly red pom-poms just came from the Dollar Tree in the red and green Christmas mix. You guys can give your snowman whatever color scarf and earmuffs and headband that you want him to have. I just thought this red and blue was a good combination. And again, don't be afraid to be generous with the glue, because you've got all that fluff you got to glue into. I think I'm going to go ahead and use some of these smaller red pom-poms from that same pom-pom pack from Dollar Tree and give him some little red sparkly buttons to match his earmuffs. Okay, next I think I want to give him some arms. And I'm using a brown pipe cleaner, so it's all just kind of pipe cleaners and pom-poms. I like to stick with that theme. I think it's really cute that way. So I'm going to cut one of my chenille stems in half. And then I'm going to cut off about a third from each one. This part doesn't really need to be exact because we're replicating sticks for a snowman arm, so it's fine. So I'm going to kind of crisscross the smaller one there and twist that part. That way it gets around the other one and holds nicely. And then I'm going to trim it up to look like a little stick. Same thing with the other one. Crisscross it and be sure that you twist those two and then bring it up. And I'm going to fold that a little bit just because it's too long, and you don't necessarily need to cut it off because it's going to be back in the fluff of that yarn anyway. So in this case, I think I'm going to go in to the yarn with my glue so that I don't get it all in between. Put a nice big blob of glue down in there and stick one of his arms in. And one on the other side. Go down into the yarn and stick his arm down in there. And then just flatten him on the bottom a little bit so he'll sit nicely. And that's it. I think he's really cute. I hope you guys liked it too. Be sure to leave me a comment below and let me know. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Give me a like over on my Facebook page. And be sure to join our Facebook group, Crafty Minds. Also follow me on Pinterest and Instagram. And don't forget to visit my blog. I'll have the links to everything in the description below, so be sure and check them out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.